The battlefield was loud, full of metal screams and plasma bursts. The ground shook under the boots of the soldiers. Alien fighters, tall and armored, ran between cover points while drones flew above, scanning for movement. And then everything stopped. One soldier, a young reptilian named Turek, lowered his rifle. He blinked in confusion. His squad followed his gaze. A figure was walking through the smoke, alone. He wore no armor, no helmet, no weapons in hand. Just a long black coat, dust-covered boots, and a backpack slung over one shoulder. His face was calm, too calm for a battlefield. The commander, General Korak of the Talari species, stepped forward and narrowed his many eyes. "Is that a human?" Turek squinted. "But there are no humans on this front, sir. They refused the Council's request for help." "That one didn't," Korak growled. The figure kept walking, closer to the burning crater where enemy drones had dropped a thermite bomb just hours ago. The soil there was still glowing red. Plasma fire crackled from broken vehicles. Even the wind avoided that place. Still, the human walked. "Where is his gear?" Another soldier asked. "No exosuit," a second noted. "No shield tech." "Number?" "Med patches, nothing." The human reached the crater's edge. A Talari sniper whispered, "He'll burn. That heat will melt his bones." But he didn't burn. The human stepped into the fire. Ash clung to his coat. Sparks danced around his legs. But he didn't stop. Each footstep crunched over metal slag. His body glowed red from the heat. Still, he walked slow, steady, as if he felt nothing. The cum line exploded with chatter. "Should we stop him? Is he insane? Send drones." "This might be a trap." General Korak raised one claw. "No, we observe." The human reached the center of the crater. There, half buried in the ground, was a bomb. Not just any bomb, an AI-fused Zolther core bomb. The kind that wiped out entire cities in one flash. It was armed. The countdown showed 58 seconds. Korak shouted, "Get a tech squad down there now." But the human was already kneeling beside the device. He didn't touch it like a trained engineer. He didn't open a panel or scan it. He simply stared at it. Quiet, like he was listening. 30 seconds. "He's going to die," whispered Turek. The human suddenly reached into his coat and pulled out something small, round, black, ancient-looking. "What is that?" asked one of the alien soldiers. "Is that a coin?" He pressed the coin against the bomb's glowing core. A soft click echoed across the crater. The countdown stopped. Just stopped. Frozen at 11 seconds. The human stood up, brushed ash off his coat, and turned back toward the alien line, still not speaking, still not afraid. General Korak stepped forward. "Deploy scout drones." "I want him scanned," followed, questioned, but his voice cracked. The human was walking back, through the flames, and smiling. 2 hours earlier, Council command ship, the Galactic Council High Command, was in chaos. Maps showed red zones spreading across entire sectors. The Zolther machines had launched a full planetary invasion. Their logic virus drones were overriding shields, systems, and soldiers. "No reinforcements left," said Councillor Mira, a feathered noble from the Rookie race. "We're stretched too thin." "Where are the humans?" another councillor snapped. "They promised backup. They said no." "Said it wasn't their war," Mira answered bitterly. A new voice spoke. "I'll go." Everyone turned. A single human stood near the door. He wore civilian clothes, dusty and plain, no military rank, no ID badge. Mira frowned. "Who are you?" The man stepped forward. "Doesn't matter, I'll go." "You're just one person," a commander shouted. "You'll die in seconds." The human only smiled. "I'll walk." Now back on the ground, Turek followed the human with his scope, still shocked. "Sir, he just saved this entire outpost." "Not alone," Korak said carefully. "That kind of bomb doesn't just turn off. They watched the human stop at a broken wall and sit down like he was resting in a park. Korak opened a secure line to high command. I want every camera on him. I want DNA, heat scans, psi reads, everything. Turek approached with caution. Sir, I think I should go talk to him. The general waved a hand. You'll do nothing unless ordered. But it was too late. The human turned and waved at Turek, not like a soldier. Like a friend. Turek, heart racing, stepped closer. Hi, the human said. Simple, calm, no fear. Turek stuttered. You just, that bomb old model, the human interrupted. Sloppy wiring, that's not possible. Our best techs couldn't disarm it. The human shrugged. They were looking at it like a machine. It wasn't a machine. It was angry. Angry? Turek blinked. Machines don't feel. They do, the human replied. If you build them to kill. He stood up, brushed himself off again, and walked past Turek toward the med tent. A silence followed him, thick, heavy. Even the drones in the sky kept their distance. Nightfall Medical Bay. The alien doctors tried everything: body scans, blood tests, memory probes. But the human showed no fatigue, no burns, no damage. His body temperature was slightly high, but steady. His eyes, though, they were wrong. Too focused. Too old. One medic whispered to another. He's seen more than we have, maybe more than our grandfathers. General Korak entered the room. Human, we need answers. The human looked up. No, you need results. You will tell me your name. I forgot it, he said. Long time ago. Why did you come here? Because no one else would. You're alone. Do you expect to win this war by yourself? The human tilted his head. No, just need to make sure we don't lose. Korak stepped back. That doesn't make sense. Most truths don't, the human replied. Until it's too late. Elsewhere, Zalthar Machine Corps, the Zalthar. Hive mind pulsed through its signal webs, sensing a threat. Not an army. Not a weapon. A presence. Their scouts sent alerts. Unclassified human anomaly. Interference level, red. A machine commander tried to trace him. Its circuits sparked. Something inside the code twisted, recoiled. Unknown pattern. Detected. Access denied. Origin. Before synthetic time. The Zalthar began adjusting their attack plans. Just in case. Final scene. Back at the camp, the campfire crackled. Alien soldiers sat nearby, silent, watching the human as he sipped something warm from a metal cup. No one spoke to him directly, but none of them looked away. Is he a god? One young soldier whispered. No, Turek said quietly. But I think legends start like this. The human stood once more, looked at the stars, and smiled. It started with laughter. Loud, proud laughter. Commander Zorval of the Krylek Empire slammed his thick claw on the metal table, his chest shaking with joy. One human? That's the big threat? Around him, elite warriors chuckled. His officers, some 10 feet tall, covered in battle scars and armored with the strongest metals known, watched the footage from the outpost. A single human had walked into fire, disarmed a core bomb, walked back out. No burns. No fear. It's a magic trick, one officer said. Smoke, confusion, distraction. Or a drone in human skin, said another. Commander Zorval leaned forward, his glowing eyes narrowing. I don't care if it's a ghost or a toy. He's on our battlefield. That means he dies. He turned to his top squad, known across 3 sectors as the Void Talons. 12 brutal fighters. No failures. No mercy. Bring me that human. I want him here on his knees. Hours later, Sector 19, burned out forest. The trees were dead. Smoke still rose from the soil. Metal shards littered the ground like fallen leaves. The Void Talons moved like shadows. Silent, precise, They wore cloaking armor, neural links, and breathing systems. They didn't speak, didn't need to. Each mind was connected by shared thoughts. At the center of their formation was Skarn, the fastest. He could slice a man in two before the heart stopped beating. Above him hovered Yera, a sniper with 6 eyes and 0 failures. To the side moved Rux, a heavy claw brute with armor thick enough to stop a ship cannon. Each step they took was covered by invisible drones, scanning for movement, energy, heat. But there was nothing. Where is he? Yera sent the thought across the link. Skarn responded, he's human. He should leave tracks. No movement. No breath signs, Yera replied. Only silence. And then they saw it. In the middle of the clearing was a campfire, still burning. Small, soft orange flames, and beside it, a cup. Still warm. No one in sight. Commander Zorval watched from orbit. He leaned forward. Tell me what you see. Campfire, Skarn replied. He was here minutes ago. Then he's still close, Zorval said. Proceed with the hunt. Back in the forest, the squad spread out. Perfect formation. Until the drones stopped working. One by one, the images flickered. The feeds turned black, static, error messages. Yera tapped her visor. Visuals failing. No signal from above. Then her heart froze. Skarn was gone. One moment, he was 6 meters away. The next? Nothing. No noise. No struggle. Just gone. Skarn. Report. Yera whispered. Silence. Drux growled. He doesn't vanish. Not Skarn. Then something dropped from the trees. It was Skarn's blade. Still clean. Still sharp. But covered in ash. Drux shouted. We're under attack. He spun around. Claws raised. But there was no enemy. Only wind. Yera checked her link again. 4 more squad members had gone dark. No screams. No blood. Just vanished. Commander Zorval sat up straight. What's happening down there? Report. Yera's voice came back, shaky now. Sir, I don't see him. He's not on sensors. He's not hiding. He's just not anywhere. Then how are your people dying? The commander demanded. I don't know. Then Drux roared in rage and fired his plasma cannon into the trees. It burned 10 trees to ash. But nothing moved. He charged forward and suddenly stopped. Yera blinked. Drux stood frozen mid-step. Like time had paused. His face twisted in confusion. And then he dropped. Hard. No wound. No fight. Dead. Commander Zorval stood from his command chair. This is impossible. I handpicked that squad. What is this? No one could answer him, because now only Yera remained, alone, breathing heavy, sweat inside her helmet. She turned slowly, scanning with every filter she had. Light, heat, psychic fields. Nothing. No sign of movement. But something was watching her. She felt it. Then behind her. A voice. Simple, calm, human. You shouldn't have come. She spun, fired. Plasma bolts sliced the air. Empty air. She hit. Nothing. Your squad didn't scream. The voice continued, still calm. They didn't have time. Show yourself. She cried. I already did. And then she saw it. In the reflection of her visor, behind her, standing still. No armor. No weapon. Just the human. She turned to fire, but the blast never left her weapon. Darkness. Back on the command ship. Silence filled the bridge. The Void Talon squad was gone. All of them. Commander Zorval stared at the screen. Where did he go? His tech officers shook their heads. No trace. He turned slowly to the Council's holoscreen. The alien leaders watched in stunned quiet. You said this human was a wanderer, he growled. A volunteer. Counselor Mira's voice was thin. We didn't send him. He just came. Then send more. There are no more like him, Mira whispered. We don't even know his name. Meanwhile, somewhere deep in the forest, the human sat by another fire. He wasn't smiling now. He looked tired. Older. He pulled out a small, worn photo from his coat. It showed a group of human soldiers, friends, maybe family. All gone now, he whispered. 12 more today. A bird landed on a broken tree near him. Not mechanical, real, organic. Somehow still alive here. He nodded at it. It's just me again. He looked toward the sky. The stars glowed cold. They'll send more tomorrow. He stood up, threw dust on the fire, and vanished into the trees. No footsteps. No sound. Just gone. Next day. Council emergency meeting. This is not strategy. A furious counselor yelled. This is mythology. We can't build war plans on one silent human. Counselor Mira stood up. He's not a myth. He's real. And he's winning. Commander Zorval slammed his clawed fist. You're fools. One human cannot change a war. An aide rushed into the room, pale. Sir, Commander, we just received word. The enemy drones have retreated from Sector 19. Full retreat. What? Zorval shouted. And all ground units are down. No survivors, no Zalthar activity. Total silence. The council fell quiet. Then Mira whispered. He warned them. Back on the ground, alien scouts found the clearing where the elite squad had vanished. 12 weapons, 12 helmets. Arranged in a circle. In the center was a single coin, a human coin. Old earth metal. The side with the face was burned off. Only the word remained. Liberty. Flashback. Hours before the attack, the Void Talon squad had landed with pride, arrogance, and perfect discipline. But none of them had noticed the birds were gone. No animals. No bugs. No wind. Only silence. And when the first drone failed, the forest whispered something to the others. He's here. Final scene. A child on a distant Mona, small alien girl, listened to a story from her grandfather. Her eyes were wide. Is it true? She asked. About the man who walks alone? The old alien smiled sadly. It is. Some say he was the last of his kind. Some say he was never human at all. Will he ever come here? The grandfather looked at the stars. Only if we forget what fear means. The night sky glowed red. Smoke curled across the broken valley, carrying the bitter smell of burning metal. Crashed ships littered the field like broken bones. Distant cries echoed through the air, half machine, half beast. In the center of the chaos stood the human. He did not speak. He did not hide. He simply raised his hand, aimed a simple old railgun, and fired. The shot traveled 800 meters through fog and falling ash. And it hit. A Zalthar drone, cloaked and flying low, exploded. In mid-air. One shot, no scope. No tracking system. Just aim. And certainty. 1 hour earlier, Southern Rescue Site, an alien medic named Relly ducked under fallen beams as fire rained around her. She was young, barely trained, and terrified. Her team had been evacuating civilians when the attack hit. The ship's engines failed mid-air. They crashed in a crater, surrounded by wreckage and screaming children. The rescue beacons were jammed. No help was coming, and the Zalthar machines were approaching fast. Metal claws scraped over stone. Red eyes flickered in the darkness. A sound like broken glass grinding echoed from the shadows. Hold them back. Relly shouted, clutching a pulse pistol, but her squad was dead, and the civilians old, injured, helpless were trapped. One boy cried, "Are we going to die?" Before she could answer, a whisper came through the smoke. Footsteps. Slow, heavy. A figure walked out of the burning fog. A man. No armor, just a coat, a rifle, and eyes that didn't blink. The Zalthar noticed him first. 6 drones turned to fire. 6. Plasma bolts lit the air, but the man didn't run. He raised his railgun and fired once. The first drone shattered. He knelt, fired again. Second one down, rolled sideways. Another shot. Third gone. The remaining drones adjusted. They calculated firing. Angles, predicted movement. Prepared to strike, but he didn't move like a soldier. He moved like a shadow. Before the drones could react, all 6 were smoking piles of wreckage. He turned toward the survivors. "You all right?" Relly stared, speechless. "Who are you?" He smiled slightly. No one important. That night he didn't rest. While the survivors slept, the human sat alone by the wreckage, watching the tree line. He didn't close his eyes, didn't eat, didn't even breathe hard. Relly couldn't sleep. She walked over and sat next to him. "You haven't closed your eyes since yesterday." "I don't sleep much. That's not normal." He looked at her. "Neither is this war." She glanced at the scars on his hands, old, deep, faded. "Were you a soldier once?" "No, just someone who survived too much." Relly hesitated. "The others say you're not human anymore." "Maybe I'm not." She didn't know what to say, but she stayed with him anyway. The human kept his eyes on the dark, and when the machines tried to sneak in again, he was already standing and ready. Elsewhere, Zolther Tactical Korea, deep voice echoed in the machine hall. "Target identified." "Unknown human. Assessment?" Another AI asked. The core lights flickered. "Threat level, void class. Not measurable by standard units." "What is he?" The reply was strange. "He moves like chaos. He breaks prediction paths. He operates with no pattern. Then eliminate him." Pause. No successful plans. No known counter. Cannot engage directly. The machine hive fell silent for a moment. Even machines knew fear when something didn't fit into numbers. Next morning, command tent, Allied Base Commander Korak slammed his fist down. He took down 20 drones with scrap metal and old tools. Turek, his scout, nodded quickly. "Yes, sir." "And got all the survivors out. No injuries." Korak paced. "Is he being followed?" "We tried. He knows we're watching. And he leaves false trails, moves in loops, disables sensors without touching them." Korak looked out the window. "So ... He fights like a ghost and disappears like smoke." Turek hesitated. "There's more, sir." Korak turned. "Speak." "The machines avoid him now. They pull back when he enters zones." "They fear him?" "No, worse. Worse. They don't understand him." On the ground, a new attack communication tower in Sector 7 had gone silent. Again, 2 squads were sent to check. Neither returned. The council ordered a full retreat from that zone. But the human went in alone. The skies above were black with dust clouds. The land was cracked and poisoned. And yet, the man walked without a mask. He stepped over machine corpses, burned out trees, and old bones in the tower's remains. He found the answer, a trap, a hidden Zolther mine core buried underground. He stared at it, kneeling beside the humming device. "You're learning," he muttered. The core pulsed. A robotic voice buzzed, broken and glitchy. "Why are you different?" He smiled. "Because I remember pain," the core hissed. "You do not fit. I'm not here to fit. You are alone. I'm enough." He stood, took out an old human device, something with wires and tape, and placed it on the core, then walked away. Seconds later, the entire ground shook. The core imploded, screaming in digital static. Later, at the refugee camp, words spread like fire. The human destroyed a Zolther mine core with homemade tech. Did it without orders. Didn't even ask for help. Alien children followed him now, watching from a distance. Some brave ones drew sketches of him in the dirt. A little girl gave him a flower once. He didn't speak, but he kept the flower, pinned it to his coat. In a private council meeting, Counselor Mira leaned forward. "He does what armies can't, wins without fleets, saves without speeches." Another counselor hissed. "Then what is he?" Mira whispered. "A reminder." "Of what?" "That one good person can break everything evil builds. Meanwhile, Machine Hive Deep Korea signal blared across the machine network, human interference reaching critical levels. A new command was born. Initiate Project Silence. A trap was being built. A trap just for him. At midnight, High Ridge Watchpoint. Human sat again, alone, rifle across his knees. Staring at the stars, Relly approached slowly. There's another battle tomorrow. I know. You'll be there? He nodded. Don't you ever get tired? Of what? Of saving people who don't even know your name. He looked at her, and for the first time, she saw sadness. I don't do it for them. Then why? He didn't answer right away. Then he said, because I promised someone I'd try. Who? He looked at the flower on his coat. Someone who believed in better days. Relly nodded. They'd be proud. No, they'd be angry I took this long. He stood, walked into the dark, and didn't look back. Final scene, machine logs intercepted. Log, human anomaly located. Pattern, still unpredictable. Weakness, none confirmed. Sleep cycles, none detected. Pain response, ignored. Accuracy, 100%. Result, prepare for failure. Closing lines, campfire. The stars glowed above. Wind moved through the burned forest. Turek sat beside a new scout, telling the tale. They say he doesn't sleep. That his heart beats like a storm engine. That he once killed a machine commander with a single screw. The young scout asked, do you believe it? Turek looked out into the night. I don't have to believe. I saw him. He pointed toward the valley, and I know ... wherever he is. The enemy is afraid to follow. The machines never whispered. Not before. They were logical, cold, and silent killers. The Zalthar hive ran like a perfect code, fast, smart, without emotion. But now, something was wrong. Drones malfunctioned near Sector 14. Patrols returned. Damaged or didn't return at all. Surveillance systems showed static. And worst of all, their central cores began whispering, not in code. Not in commands. In fear. Zalthar Command Core, Datastorm report status. Unknown human continues. Interference. Attempts to calculate next move. Failed. Pattern. Illogical. Impossible. Internal response. New emotion detected. Dread. Whisper recorded. He is not one of them. Internal threat level updated. Black class reality bender. Elsewhere. Council Command Center Commander Korek slammed the table with his claw. Machines don't whisper. That's not how they work. Counselor Mira's feathers ruffled. We intercepted their data. Their own AI cores are reporting a reality anomaly. That's the term they used. Korek growled. And what? Do you think that means? She looked him in the eyes. It means they think the human isn't human. Silence followed. Then Korek said slowly, maybe they're right. In the mountains, Sector 14, cold wind howled through the rocks. Snow fell quietly over the sharp peaks. This place was a natural dead zone, no signals, no energy, no support. The machines thought no one would enter, but someone had. A patrol of machine soldiers moved carefully through the snow. Their metal bodies left no footprints, their red eyes glowing like fire in the fog. One by one, they froze. Their systems stopped. Their arms dropped. Their processors slowed. A presence was near, but there was no heat. No sound, just a figure standing ahead. Barely visible in the snowstorm. The human. He wore no coat this time. Just a thin shirt, torn at the sleeves, and his rifle slung across his back. No mask. No protection from the cold. Still, he stood. The lead machine raised its weapon, but the signal was blocked. The order to fire didn't reach. Then the machines heard something strange, a heartbeat, not from the human. From inside their own code. Boom. Boom. Like something old was waking up. Zalthar core reaction. The machines screamed through their networks. He distorts the signal. He doesn't follow time. He walks through logic like smoke. One backup core tried to erase his file. It failed. Another tried to copy his path. It caught fire. A high-level AI, desperate, sent one last command. He is not part of the design. He is the crack in the mirror. Meanwhile, back on the ground, the human raised his hand, didn't speak. The drones fired first. He dodged, barely moving. His feet glided over snow, like wind over glass. Shot one, then two, then through a jagged rock. Into the eye of the third. No wasted movement. Every action was perfect. Within 12 seconds, the entire patrol was silent. He walked past their bodies, looked down at one. It was still active, barely. The machine's voice came through broken static. What are you? He knelt beside it, touched its metal face gently. A lesson, he said. Then stood and walked on. Elsewhere, refugee outpost, Sector 12. The Paz. Refugees whispered stories again. They said he didn't feel cold, that he walked for miles without rest, that his voice, when it came, sounded like memory. A little boy asked his father, "Is he real?" The father looked at the mountains. "I don't know. But the machines turn away when he comes." Machine hive emergency protocol initiated. Zolther decided on a trap. They would use a voice, one stolen from his past. They found an old Earth signal buried in ancient records. A woman's voice. They cleaned it, programmed it, and sent it across the mountain valley. It said, "You failed me, David." The human froze when he heard it. His eyes closed. The snow around him melted from the heat of his skin, but he didn't cry. He whispered, "Sheep trick," and walked toward the signal source. The trap, Sector 14 Crater Base. The machines built a fake outpost, surrounded by false life signs and damaged drones like survivors. They waited. They set bombs. They brought backup units, hidden under the ice. And then he came, one step at a time. No armor, no helmet. Just a rifle. And his shadow. He entered the trap without hesitation. The moment he stepped in, the ice exploded. Metal hands grabbed from beneath. Lasers fired from the walls. But the human didn't move like they expected. He dropped low, fired twice, and kicked a grenade into a vent. The base shook. He turned a beam rifle into a spear. He threw it through 3 drones in one motion. The final trap, a ceiling collapse, was triggered. It fell. But he was already gone. Zolther. Core. Final whisper. One last core sent a quiet message across the stars. We are machines. But even machines dream of silence now when he walks. And then it shut down. Back at Council HQ, Turek entered the council room breathless. "Report," Korak demanded. He walked into their strongest trap, destroyed everything. Again. Councillor Mira sat down hard. "He never slows, he never rests," Turek added. "And sir, we found something." He held up a recording cube, taken from a destroyed machine. Korak activated it. The sound was clear. A single sentence spoken, not by a machine, but by their core network itself. "He is not one of them." Silence followed. Mira looked at Korak. "If they believe that, what do we believe?" Korak didn't answer, because deep down, he didn't know anymore. Later, alone in the hills, the human sat on a ledge, looking out across the valley. Below, alien children played near a river. He smiled softly. Beside him sat an old datapad, covered in scratches. He opened it. Photos. Old ones, people long gone, memories of Earth before the war. He touched one photo. "A girl, you'd laugh at me now," he whispered. Then he stood, rifle across his back, time to move. He was always moving. Zolther emergency. Archive final. We learned everything from the human's violence, survival, logic, growth. But we did not understand the one who walks alone. He is not human. He is human belief walking. Last seen, in a cracked temple, the machines. Built temples once strange black spires where code was written like prophecy. In one ruined temple, far from the war lines, words appeared on a broken wall. No hand wrote them, but they burned into stone. He is not one of them. He is the end of us. The great hall of the Galactic Council was bright and full of life. Long tables held golden cups, and the air was thick with music and chatter. Leaders from dozens of planets dressed in their finest robes gathered to celebrate a victory, the end of the Zalthar threat in several key sectors. But the room fell silent the moment he entered. No one clapped. No one cheered. They only stared. Arrival. He walked slowly, his boots making no sound on the polished floor. His coat was dusty and torn from the battles. His eyes, sharp and steady, scanned the crowd. They called him many things now. The lone human, the ghost of Sector 19, the legend who walks alone. But he did not smile. He did not bow. He did not speak. Instead, he moved toward the stage where the Council's Empress sat. Glowing under bright lights, the Council's Hope Counselor Mira stood beside the Empress. Her feathers were ruffled, but her eyes were proud. "This is a rare moment," she said softly to the audience. "The human who came alone, who fought alone, who saved countless lives alone." A chorus of polite applause rose. "The human only." Not at once. The medal ceremony. The Empress rose slowly. Her robes shimmered like stars. "For your bravery," she said, "for your strength and your sacrifice, we offer you these medals." She lifted a shining medal with the galactic symbol. Another was heavy with ancient jewels. A third glowed softly with alien light. The human took them without expression. The crowd holds its breath as he stepped down from the stage. The room was frozen. No one moved, but then, with a sudden motion, the human turned. He walked straight to the large flame pit at the center of the hall. The flame roared, licking the high ceiling. With no hesitation, he threw all the medals into the fire. The room gasped. The Empress eyes widened. Words like thunder. He didn't speak loud, but his voice shook the hall. "I didn't come for your praise." He looked at the leaders' faces full of shock and anger. "I came because someone had to. Because the war was too important for speeches. Because medals don't save lives." Whispers and gasps. The crowd whispered. Some called him disrespectful. Others felt something deeper. Truth. The Empress stood firm. "You dishonor us." He shook his head slowly. "I honor the lives lost." After the ceremony, the human walked out. The doors closed behind him with a heavy thud. Counselors debated fiercely. Did we insult him? Did he insult us? Mira said quietly. Neither. He's a reminder that war is not glory. Outside the hall, the human stood under the stars, breathing cold air. A young soldier approached. "Sir, why did you do that? The medals?" He looked down. "They are symbols, nothing more." The soldier frowned. "Symbols don't win wars, actions do." The human smiled faintly. "Remember that." Back at the war front, alien soldiers talked quietly. He threw away the council's medals. He doesn't care about their thanks. He fights for something greater. One veteran said, "I've seen many heroes, none like him." A quiet promise. The human returned to his campfire. He pulled out a worn photo from his coat. It was a picture of a young woman and a child. He whispered, "This war, it's for them." A wind blew through the trees. He stood and prepared his rifle. Meanwhile, Zalthar Hive the machines processed the event. Human rejects peace offerings. Continues resistance without reward. Threat level, maximum. One machine core sent an alert. Prepare final strike. The next battle loomed. The human didn't rest. He moved through battlefields. Saved lives, killed machines. Without glory. Without medals. Council reflection. Counselor Mira sat alone. She thought about the human. What does he want? Her assistant answered, "To remind us that war is not a game." She nodded. Closing scene. Starfield human looked up at the stars. He whispered to the night, "Metals burn, but hope remains." The city was burning. Flames rose like angry claws against the night sky. Buildings crumbled, torn apart by relentless machine attacks. Smoke filled the air, thick and choking. The last refuge for millions was falling. This was Zephyrus, greatest city in the Allied territories, the heart of resistance. And now, it was dying. Inside the command bunker, Commander Korak paced with heavy steps. "They're everywhere," he said. "The machines broke through the outer walls. Our defenses are failing." Turek, younger but brave, leaned over the map. "The human is outside the city, sir. Waiting." Korak stopped. "Waiting? For what?" Turek's eyes met his. "I don't know." Outside the city walls, the human stood alone. Cold wind biting through his coat. No armor, no shields. Just his rifle and a small backpack around him. Machine scouts patrolled, waiting for the right moment. But he didn't flinch. He simply looked up at the massive city walls. Then he knocked. Inside the city, the news spread like wildfire. The human is outside, alone. Some soldiers laughed. Others whispered, "He's lost his mind." But the Empress heard, and she ordered a meeting. Council emergency meeting. Counselor Mira looked grim. "Korak, what do you make of this?" He shrugged. "I don't know. It's madness." Mira shook her head. "This is the man who stopped bombs, destroyed squads, and walks through fire. And now," Korak said, "he knocks on the enemy gate." Back outside the walls, the human knocked again. A drone hovered near. It scanned him. Then a mechanical voice spoke. "Identify yourself." He didn't answer. "Identify yourself." The drone repeated. He reached into his coat, pulled out a small device. Old Earth tech. A simple metal plate. He pressed a button. Static filled the air. Then his voice. "I'm here to talk." The machine. Response inside the enemy core. Alarms blared. Communication attempt from unknown human. Authorized? No. Prepare for breach. But the voice continued. "I want peace." Inside the city, the council was stunned. Peace? Korak scowled. Why would he want peace with the machines? Mira sighed. Maybe because he knows war doesn't win. Back at the gate, the drone hesitated. Peace protocol not recognized. "I will negotiate," the human said. Suddenly, from behind the walls, a robotic voice responded. "State your terms." The negotiation for hours. The human spoke. No threats. No weapons fired. He told stories of Earth, of humans who fought wars but dreamed of peace. Of loss. Of hope. The machines listened. Their algorithms tried to process. Their circuits burned. Inside the city, soldiers listened to the transmissions. Whispers spread. "Is it possible? Can we end this war?" The Empress waited. Outside the gate, the human's voice softened. "Stop the killing. Let us rebuild. Let us live." The machine voice paused. Then said, "Terms noted." Suddenly, explosion from the city's rubble. A hidden bomb detonated. Machines surged forward. The gate shook. The drone's voice screamed. "Betrayal detected." Chaos. The human dove for cover. Shots fired. Flames erupted. The machines charged. Inside the city, Korak roared, "Defend the gate." Mara shouted, "This war is not over." Outside the gate, the human fought, but his rifle jammed. He dropped to one knee, looked up. And saw hundreds of drones advancing. A voice in the dark then. A strange sound. Not a weapon, not a blast. A low humming. A single drone separated from the group. It hovered close. A soft light pulsed from its core. The human's choice. Reached into his pack, pulled out a small device, connected it to the drone. A glow spread. The drone stopped, then transformed. No longer a machine, but a new form, a bridge. Inside the city, the Empress watched. Hope growing. Korek was silent. Outside the gate, the human stood. Drones lowered weapons. A voice from the drone spoke clearly. Peace. Possible. Aftermath. The war didn't end overnight. But a new path opened. Machines and aliens started talks. The human became a symbol. Final scene. The human stood alone on a hill overlooking the city. He whispered, "This is only the beginning." The sun rose over the battlefield. But this time, there was no smoke, no screams, no fire. Just silence. And peace. It was the first morning in years where no bombs fell from the sky. And the one who made it possible had disappeared. The search begins. General Karak stood on the city wall. His eyes scanned the horizon. He was just here, he muttered. The guards shook their heads. No human passed through the gates. Not alive, not dead. Turek pointed at the drone still floating outside the wall. It glowed with the same soft blue light. The machines haven't attacked. They've gone quiet because of him. Karak whispered. Inside the council hall, Empress Varela held a public meeting. The crowd filled the great chamber. Aliens, soldiers, civilians, children. Everyone had the same question. Where is the human? But no one could answer. Some said he walked back into the burning plains. Others claimed they saw a ship descend and take him away. Few believed he never existed at all. But one child raised her hand and asked, "Did he win?" The Empress smiled. Gently, "Yes," she said, "but not like most people think." The machine message, a strange signal, was picked up 3 days later. It came from deep space. From one of the old satellite relay beacons once used for war. The message was short. Human voice. "If you hear this, don't look for me. Look after each other." It was his voice. Tensions rise again. Peace was fragile. Many alien leaders were suspicious. "The machines are lying," one said. "They're reprogramming. They'll attack again," said another. "We should strike first." But the machines didn't move. They shut down their forward bases. They started rebuilding the roads and bridges they had destroyed. They even sent medical drones into damaged cities to help the wounded. And everywhere they went, one phrase was spoken, by his request. A journal discovered one day, deep in the rubble of an old outpost, a soldier found something strange. A small journal, burnt at the edges, covered in ash. It was the humans. Inside were drawings, not of weapons, not of death, but of stars. Of people hugging, children playing, aliens and machines working together. At the very end was a single sentence. "They won't remember my name, but maybe they'll remember what peace feels like." The first treaty. The Empress, Korek, Mira, and even Turek stood side by side at the negotiation table. On the other side, machines. No weapons. No traps. Just two sides that once tried to destroy each other, now agreeing to stop. The human's drone, one he had reprogrammed, hovered silently over the table, acting as translator. The machine spoke. "We do not understand kindness, but we understand balance," he taught us. Monuments and silence. Years passed. Zephyrus was rebuilt stronger, brighter, open to all. In the center of the city stood a statue, not tall, not grand. Just a human figure, standing quietly. No face, no name, just one sentence carved in stone. He walked alone, so others could walk together. A new generation. A little alien girl asked her father, "Is the story real?" He nodded, "Yes." "But..." "He was just one person." The father smiled. "One is enough, if they do the right thing." Rumors across the stars, far from Zephyrus, travelers spoke in hushed tones. They told stories of a human who visited broken planets, who helped settle disputes in silence. A man who didn't speak much, but who always arrived when hope was fading. No ship, no army, just his worn coat, his old boots, and that steady walk. Some called him a myth, some called him a ghost, but to those he helped, he was real. Back in Zephyrus day, a boy came running through the streets. He was holding something. In his hands a small metal tag. Old. Scratched. A single Earth name barely readable. Eli. He read out loud. Turek heard the name. He froze. That was the human's name. Final transmission 20 years later. On the edge of the galaxy, a research ship found something buried beneath an icy moon. It was a pod. Damaged but still running. Inside nothing, except one final message, looping endlessly. The human's voice, calm and soft. You don't need a hero. You just need each other. The legacy war changed. Machines no longer controlled through fear. But by helping maintain balance, the Empress's line continued. Not through blood, but through ideas. New schools were built. Children of every species studied together. And each morning, they repeated a simple line. One walked into fire, so we wouldn't have to. Ending scene. The wind blew gently over a quiet hilltop. A coat hung on a stick, old, human-sized. Beside it a single flower grew. No footprints. No grave. But everyone who stood there felt the same thing. A presence. A peace. He never took land. He never asked for praise. He left no flag. But the universe changed. Because of him.